Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on BJPen.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. Episode 183 is live at UFC 309. First up, we're joined by Eryk Anders to preview his fight against Chris Weidman. Really good chat with Eryk, who is really excited to fight a guy like Chris. He actually admitted he's got, I think it was 3 fights left in his contract. Once he's through it on, he's going to retire. So he's fighting out his contract, and he's really looking forward to fighting these big names like Weidman. And he knows it's not even about like what wins do anymore. He just wants to fight these legends of sport and kind of look back in his career, and when it's all said and done, be like, wow, I fought this guy and this guy. But really good chat with Eryk. And then we close things out talking to Damon Jackson, who's moving up to lightweight to face Jim Miller. I normally talk to Jim, couldn't get schedules to work for this one, but Damon, coming off that loss to Chepe Mariscal, he was pretty disappointed. Chepe missed weight for that one, and he says it's kind of annoying for him at featherweight when he was killing himself to make featherweight. He said his entire training camp was just all about making the weight. So at lightweight, he's feeling a lot better, and he thinks that should be a lot better. And he's excited to get a big name like Jim Miller in his lightweight, in his return to lightweight. But be sure to share the show, subscribe, and thank you all for listening. All right, we're joined by UFC middleweight Eryk Anders, who has a massive fight here at UFC 309 in Madison Square Garden. Eryk, how's it going, man?
Doing great, doing great. Just got back from training, so now I'm gonna take a shower, take a nap, and get back to it again this afternoon.
Obviously, haven't seen you since March. Like, was this a lot longer of a layoff than what you wanted after that last fight?
Um, nah, not really. I like to take the summers off so I can travel and go do things with my kids. So that's what we did, and yeah, one or two, or two fights a year is perfect for me.
And then when you get the call, like MSG, Chris Weidman, like is it just basically an immediate yes? Like you get a big name like that, and at obviously Madison Square Garden, like a legendary venue.
Yeah, it's great. Madison Square Garden is one of the most prestigious venues in America, if not the world. So. They could offer me King Kong as long as it's in Madison Square. Like, I'm in there. I've been wanting to fight there.
Were you surprised to get Chris Weidman, or was this a name that you thought kind of made sense for you?
I mean, he fought Bruno Silva last, so, he's coming off a win. I'm coming off a win. So, if he could fight Bruno, why he can't fight me? So, obviously he's not, he's had a legendary career, former champion, but, with his leg and his age and thing, he's not, I don't want to sound like a prick saying it, but like he's just not like champion caliber. So
Mhm.
it doesn't really make sense for him to be fighting top 15 guys and title challengers. So from a matchup perspective, from a fan perspective, like two guys that are going to move forward and punch each other as hard as they can in the face. I think it makes sense for the matchmakers to make this fight and for fans to want to see this fight.
With Chris being such a good wrestler, do you bring in anyone or change anything different for camp for this one?
Yeah, I got Ray Waters here. He's 4 or 5-0. Trains out there in Arizona, wrestled at Arizona State. Big, strong, athletic guy. So, it's he's been great work and a great help to this fight camp. And he knows a lot about wrestling. He knows a lot about fighting, and I'm soaking it all in.
I was trying to remember. You aren't in Arizona anymore, are you? Or are you still out there?
No, I train in Birmingham,
Yeah, that's what I
Alabama.
remember. That's what I thought you went back home. What kind of was the reason to go back to home to Alabama to train?
Um, I'm not really chasing the belt anymore. I'm not. Really necessarily chasing top 15, just entertaining fights. And I think I can get what I need here at home and, be around my kids. My oldest son lives with me now. So it's hard to like be two places at once. So um, that was kind of like the main catalyst. And then, um, I can bring guys like Ray in. Um, I got a house, extra rooms, a basement, and things like that. So, I can accommodate, multiple people, and it's just easier for me.
What have you made of Chris? His last like 2 fights and come back from that injury. Like obviously, I think he was a bit tentative against Tavares, and that last fight against Bruno was just kind of a weird one all around.
Well, Brad's a savvy vet. He's hard for anybody to beat. You know, um, even RoboCop. Brad was having some success against him until he wasn't. So Brad knows how to go out there and win. He knows how to fight. Um, I don't really recall. Bruno Silva's fight. I know it ended via eye poke or something like that. But Bruno was able to land some shots and do some damage too. I remember seeing Weidman's eye, afterwards, all swollen and whatnot. So, um, the guy's a gamer. He's going to move forward. He's going to bite down on that mouthpiece. He's going to be ultra aggressive, and that's probably just who he is as a competitor. So I would imagine I'm going to get the best version of him and get that aggression that he brings to the table.
Both you guys do have wrestling pedigrees, but would you prefer, like you kind of said earlier, that you're for entertaining fights? Would you prefer this one just to stay on the feet then?
It's going to go how it goes. It's an MMA fight, so, don't be surprised if I shoot. I'm not going to be surprised if he shoots and tries to wrestle and grapple, but I don't think it's any secret. I like the hands and, maybe a little cage wrestling to set up punches and stuff like that, but, I want their hands.
Uh, he's obviously beloved in New York, so I imagine you're gonna get booed. It's probably not worse than what you faced in Brazil. So, like, do you just kind of reflect back on that, or how you kind of handle all that?
I mean, it is what it is. Those are external factors that really don't have anything to do with the fight. Those people aren't going to come in there and, fight with him or help him during the fight. So, um, it's whatever. The only thing I think it does sway the judges a little bit. Because obviously if he lands, they're going to make a lot of noise. If I land, they're not going to make much noise at all. So, it's up to me to go out there and take over the fight. Kind of assert my will and go out there and win the fight, you know?
How do you kind of see this one playing out then?
I think we meet in the middle and somebody falls. I like my chances.
I know you said you're not really chasing the bell at top 15, so like, do you really care what a win does here? Is it just more like getting both checks and kind of keeping your job for now?
Yeah, of course. I got three more fights, this and two more. So, I'm trying to get all my money and, it's whatever. I'm not really turning down fights. So, whatever comes next comes next.
Is that going to be it for you then? Like these final three fights, or could you see yourself re-signing and
Nah, nah, that's it. That's it. I think, I'll be 38 in April. So, I don't think that I'll get those three fights before April. So, I'll be 38 and, that's a good time to retire. Not too young, not too old. That'll put me at 20 UFC fights and ready to start the next chapter.
when did you kind of make that decision that this contract would be it for you?
Um, I think they re-signed me. They wanted to do like a three-fight deal when I was like 15. Excuse me, 15 fights. But I told them just gonna give me five. Let me get 20, and let me bow out gracefully. And I've done a lot for them. They've done a lot for me, and they were happy to oblige my request.
I know you said you don't really care about opponents, but just like, do you have anyone like that would be cool for you to fight, or like, or even just like venues, like MSG is a cool one, like any spots you want to fight before you're done?
Anywhere I don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah. Well,
So
New York
Florida and
isn't too good
Texas is
for you.
cool. Yeah, what's that?
New York isn't too good for you then.
Nah. New York, they gonna hit me. But I'm from Texas. I would love to fight one of those last two fights in Texas. Florida's cool as well. Or anywhere in the South.
Mhm.
There's driving distance to the people come from Birmingham and Alabama, and the SEC, so to speak, will be able to travel and go see me fight.
Well, maybe they go to Alabama right around there for you. Because
We'll
like they
see.
the last time they've been to Alabama, they've been like years. It'd be kind of cool for them to go back there.
Yeah, it
You
would be
have
awesome. They just renovated our civic center here. Holds about 20,000, so that's a perfect spot. And you can also draw from like Atlanta, Nashville. The UFC people will come.
and those Vanderbilt fans will be coming too.
Yeah. But they're riding cloud nine right now. So kudos to them, man. They played a hell of a game, went out there and got a dub. I think everybody was kind of sleeping on them. So you know, it is what it is.
We always talk football at the end, so like, was that you obviously played in Alabama, you know those spots. Like, do you think that was just a bad spot for them? Like, you get that high after beating Georgia, and everyone kind of just goes, "Oh, it's Vanderbilt. Like, we don't really need to try." Like, do you think that's kind of what it was?
Man, I think historically Alabama's kind of played to their level of competition. They go out there and they won pretty good against I guess it was South Florida, but the score isn't indicative of the game. Um, if you watch the game, it's
Mhm.
tied. It's pretty close almost to like the last 5 minutes of the game. But then they go out there and do really well in the first half against Georgia, get comfortable with their lead. Georgia comes back, and they go out there and they were able to go out there and get a win against the number one team. And now, you you know play an unranked team and take a loss. So I think that the level of consistency isn't there just yet for Alabama. So they're gonna have a tough one this week with Tennessee. I know they took a loss, so both teams right now are clawing and scratching right now. So and they go to Knoxville too. So it's gonna be a tough one, but I think that they can bounce back and get it done.
Well, Eric, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
All right, my pleasure, brother. Anytime.
All right, we're joined by UFC lightweight now, Damon Jackson. Damon, how's it going,
Oh
man?
man, it feels so good, man. I feel so healthy. It's just crazy how my life has literally changed since like right when that fight was over. Like after I made weight, I told my manager like half-ass. I told him I was like, hey, from here on out, I want to do at least one fight at 55. I told him that, and then as soon as he missed weight and I made weight. And I had to like kill myself to make weight. Like no one knows this, but the fight before against Alex Hernandez, I freaking passed out and busted my eye open the day before the freaking fight. They almost didn't let me fight. And so I busted my damn eye open because I passed out cutting weight. And so like making that, it's 30 pounds for me. I walk around about 175, 173. So when I cut down to 45, man, that's it's a lot of body mass like gone. It's just not healthy. So like ever since I made the decision to move up, I'm eating like I've only gained about 4 pounds, but I've been eating like 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. So I'm training 2 to 3 times a day. Like I feel like I'm in college again. Like I feel just so happy and healthy. Like I'm getting to lift. I'm getting to do sprints. I'm getting to run endurance. I'm grappling all the time. So it's just nice, man. It makes me feel good.
And then you get the fight, and it's like you're finally out of the Apex. You're on one of the
Uh,
biggest cards this year,
I
Madison Square
know.
Garden. Like,
It's like
what was that kind of like?
it was they soon like like Jason really doesn't really have to like ask me ever. If he texts me, he's like he could just tell me what day I'm fighting and I'd be okay with that. But he texts me, he's like Jim Miller 11:16. I'm like, yep, instantly. Like I mean, within 30 seconds, I text him, yep, and he texted me back and said, looks like it's a done deal. And then the next morning, I got the contract. So, like just the way it all played out was awesome because my last two fights were the guys missed weight. And then I got to go back to the apex. I got to go back to the same bullshit, cutting weight, and dealing with all that. And so it's just nice to make the move mentally to go 55 and physically is great. But then to get big name like Miller, and he's like, it's just it's all good, man. I'm happy.
For you too, like what's it like for you to be a part of this card? Like, could be John Jones Stipe's last ever fight. Like, there'll be a lot of eyeballs on it. Like, be a part of
Yeah.
that. Like, looking back years from now, like, what's that like for you?
I mean, it's kind of hard. Like I get asked that a lot. Like it's kind of hard to like reminisce about anything because it's been like so busy, like back to back to back, always training, always working and stuff. So it's kind of hard to like reminisce and like think about things like that. But for this fight, I'm gonna treat it a little bit more special just because, just really because of the apex, man. Like once you fight there so many times, like you really appreciate the chances and opportunities outside that. So um, getting this fight on this card, plus going up a weight class where I don't have to worry about weight, like cutting weight. Like normally, my whole fight camp is based around me cutting weight to get to a certain point where I know I can make the weight from there. So, which changes my training, changes my mental state. It's just nice, man. I'm happy.
Does fighting at MSG mean anything to you? Like, I know a lot of people want to
Yeah.
fight there. Or is it just like a kind of another place for you?
For me, like I've gotten so used to fighting the Apex that I don't really think of venues and I don't really think of like locations or anything. I just think of like, oh, it's Vegas. I know what I'm gonna do there. I know I'm gonna do this, and this, whatever. And then you have the PI there, which is amazing, with all their staff and everything. It's that place is great. But fighting at MSG, being in New York that time, like New York, I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big New York guy, but New York around Christmas is pretty damn awesome. So I've had 2 fights up there. I fought for PFL and then I fought for UFC, both in New Jersey. So being in New York that time of year is going to be pretty cool. And I'm definitely happy that it's the John Jones card and everything. That's pretty cool. But just all of it really is it's pretty cool to be a part of that for sure.
And then when you say you're going up to lightweight, like getting Jim Miller, like was that a bit of a surprise? Like a guy like a legend or like a future Hall of Famer, like were you surprised to get a big name like that in your lightweight debut?
Yeah, I was thinking like I was gonna fight some no name, top 50 guy on a short notice or something like that. Because they're like UFC, they're not the biggest fans of you like changing weight classes when you're contracted for a weight class. But I think after that fight, when I took the fight and I didn't have to, Sean he was real cool with me. He said, hey, let me know what you want to do. As long as it's reasonable, we'll make it happen. And so like right there, I basically made the decision that I wanted to go to lightweight because I'm like so drained from cutting weight and everything. So, it was just nice to get that. And then for them to even offer me Jim Miller my first fight was just insane. So, I was just stoked for sure.
Both you guys are high level grapplers. Like, how do you think you kind of match up with each other? Because it seems like when two of these like high level grapplers fight, it ends up being one of those kickboxing fights.
Yeah, I definitely think there's gonna be some punches and kicks thrown, a lot of them, and you know, he's no joke on the ground. I'm no joke on the ground, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we don't see the ground until like later in the fight, second or third round. So it's gonna be a fight, though. It's gonna be a fight. I'm excited.
He's been like a pretty durable guy. Like it's hard to put him out. Like he hasn't
Yeah.
finished since like what I'm just looking at, like Oliveira in 28 or no, yeah, Oliveira in 2018. So like, is there like a thought in my head like this could be one of those like? And you look at his fights, a lot of them are those like 15-minute wars. Is that kind of what you're expecting here? Though?
I'm gonna train like that. That's kind of how I train for every fight, but for this fight, for sure, going up a weight class plus, fighting him and just knowing how. Those are things that I'm definitely looking at. For 15 minutes has got to be nothing for me. And normally, my cardio is like something I take pride in. Like I've ran 8 marathons. I've done a bunch of half marathons. I ran cross country all the way into college, and I stopped my going into my sophomore year. I used to run cross country all the time, and I loved it. And so whenever I had a couple of performances.
Oh, I lost your sound.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go. Got it.
Oh, so my last 6 fights, I've had horrible weight cuts, man, and just drained my cardio. And it's something that I take pride in. So like for me to have this fight, knowing that it's going to be 15-minute war most likely, I'm going to push it hard.
That is something I do want to touch on. Just like going up lightweight, like, the cardio and power will just be like that much better for you.
It'll be so much better because I'm telling you, man, I live this lifestyle year round, and so when I go in there and have a bad performance and it looks like I didn't train and it looks like I wasn't ready, it's really frustrating to me, like personally, because I've been a coach or like a personal trainer since I was like 15. So like for me to like go out there and look like I'm not in shape or look like I didn't train, I didn't do things the right way. It's a very very frustrating feeling, and I can't believe it took me this long to go up to lightweight. I really can't believe it, but I'm just happy that I'm making the move, and I got this big fight on the big card. It's all good.
Who's going to be in the corner for this one?
So I got Gerald McCoy. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he's
He was my
back in it,
corner
eh?
last fight. He's back in because I just didn't like that performance, and I wanted him to be a part of that. And he's a member at my gym, so I train with him a lot, and we talk a lot on the side. He's in season right now, so he's taking that weekend off and coming up there to watch the fights and everything. So I told him, like, you got to be in my corner. And then I got one of my buddies, Robert Oliver. He's a huge on TikTok and on Instagram, but he's going to show me a few things on there. And then, Coach Safe.
Mm-hmm. You say you do get past Jim, like he's kind of a guy right near the ranks at lightweights. Like, where do you think that kind of puts you in this division?
Who the hell knows, man? Like, I just got to focus on Jim and focus on winning that fight, and hopefully keep myself out of the apex with a big performance. Hopefully they see that I'm not an apex fighter, so hopefully they bring me outside the apex from here on out. So. Or if they would just add like 200 more fans in there, it'd be nice. Like if there's like 400 or 500 people in there, it'd be cool. But it's like 100 to 200 people, and it's like not loud.
I guess the bright side about this day too is like timing works out. You get this fight done, you can just don't have to worry about cutting weight during Thanksgiving or Christmas. Like, you really enjoy the holidays.
Yeah, I've always cut weight. Or I've always been like, so 4 days a week I do a calorie deficit. And so I do that 4 days a week, and I've done that forever. I've always been like worried about my weight. And now, I mean, I'm eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. I haven't really gained any weight. Like I've only gained like 4 pounds, but it's been muscle. Like I've been lifting like crazy. So it's not like I'm gaining fat. This is just my natural weight. So it's just nice to be there, man. And I'll be definitely excited to eat some cinnamon rolls during Christmas time. And Thanksgiving, I don't really like Thanksgiving food, so that won't really affect me. But maybe some rolls. I like the rolls at Thanksgiving.
Just final thing, like, what is kind of the goal going forward? Like, imagine it's lightweight from here on out. What's kind of the goal going forward for you?
Yeah, man, it's lightweight from here on out, 100%. Like I'm too happy to be like here to like change back. And then I'm looking to expand my gym. I found a couple places that I'm trying to expand to, and so that's something that's my goal. My next goal is just to expand my gym, and I want to get one more house. So those are my goals for this year.
Well, Damon, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.